NBC's One Chicago franchise is set to expand this fall, just not how you'd expect. The One Chicago franchise is about to expand once again this fall with a brand new addition to NBC's beloved franchise, though not in the form fans might expect. Rather than launching a new show in the franchise, Wolf Entertainment is instead launching a new podcast, which will celebrate Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD like never before through the official One Chicago podcast. As first reported by Variety, the One Chicago podcast series will bring fans new behind-the-scenes access to the shows they love in a medium the franchise has never explored before. The new show does not yet have an official host, with one set to be announced at a later date. But the new podcast will hail from Wolf Entertainment and USD Audio. During new episodes of the One Chicago podcast, fans will get a 360-degree view of the One Chicago universe and the creative engine that powers it. So what does this mean? Well, let's just say fans are going to be getting a lot of exciting new content via the podcast. The new podcast will feature long-form interviews with stars of Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD, as well as with writers, producers, and members of the crew. The new episodes will include exclusive stories and a look at what went into making the episodes, with discussions ranging from the stunt work that went into the episodes to the breakdown of some of the key storylines. The episodes will also feature various segments that incorporate an interactive fan element. Fittingly, new episodes of the One Chicago podcast will be released on Thursdays during the upcoming season, with the first episode of the One Chicago podcast expected to drop the day after the season premieres this fall. It's not yet known whether the podcast will be strictly released in an audio format, or if fans will also get to enjoy clips from the episodes, which is a format many mainstream podcasts have incorporated as a way to target audiences, both with audio and visual content. Whatever the exact plan ends up being, it's so exciting to see NBC's beloved franchise expanding in a new way via this podcast series. We can't wait to not only enjoy new episodes of Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD on Wednesday nights, but also dive into the One Chicago podcast the following day with members of the One Chicago cast and crew breaking down the latest episodes. It's honestly surprising it's taken Wolf Entertainment as long as it has to launch an official One Chicago companion podcast, but better late than never. We will happily welcome the One Chicago podcast into the franchise and are eager to see who will be tapped to host the new series and who will appear on the podcast's debut episode this fall. Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD will return Wednesdays this fall on NBC, with new episodes of the One Chicago podcast dropping Thursdays during the upcoming seasons. In a move no one saw coming, NBC has announced a bold new expansion to its beloved One Chicago universe, but it's not another traditional procedural. This fall, the Windy City will welcome One Chicago. After Hours, a groundbreaking hybrid series that combines the gritty realism fans adore with a slice-of-life, character-driven format more akin to a prestige drama than a network procedural. While Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med continue to anchor Wednesday nights with high-stakes emergencies, high-octane rescues, and heart-wrenching medical cases, One Chicago. After Hours dares to ask the question, what happens when the sirens stop? Set between the cracks of the established show's timelines, After Hours follows the lives of the city's first responders and civil servants not on the job, but in their rare moments of downtime, in late-night diners, dive bars, pickup basketball games, city rooftop parties, therapy sessions, and long walks home. It's not about solving crimes or putting out fires. It's about the emotional residue left behind. A new kind of heroism. Viewers have fallen in love with the action, says creator and executive producer Derek Haas in a surprise video announcement. But now it's time to slow down and look at what all that action does to a person. We're flipping the lens inward. The series will be part docu-style, part scripted drama, and part experimental television. Shot in a moodier, more intimate visual style, After Hours is said to feel like a cross between Euphoria and The Bear, but through the lens of your favorite One Chicago characters. That's right, fan-favorite characters from Firehouse 51, Gaffney Medical, and District 21 will rotate through each episode, but in entirely new lights. The pilot episode, titled The Red Line Doesn't Stop Here, centers on Joe Cruz, Joe Minoso, as he struggles with memories of Otis during a sleepless night. Instead of charging into burning buildings, Cruz wanders the late-night streets of Chicago, lost in thought. He eventually ends up in a 24-hour empanada shop, where, to his surprise, he runs into Dr. Vanessa Taylor, Asha Cooper, who's dealing with a case that shook her so badly she got off 2 stops early on the CTA just to cry into the river. The two sit, talk, and by morning, something has shifted. Not everything is fixed, but something feels more survivable. Not every wound is visible, explains showrunner Lily Trader, a former playwright who was brought on to shake up the traditional format. We wanted to give our heroes space to breathe, and our audience space to feel. Unexpected pairings, unforgettable moments. One of the key features of After Hours is its offbeat character pairings. In Episode 3, titled Drinks with the Enemy, viewers will see Detective Haley Upton, Tracy Spiridakos, sharing a whiskey flight with none other than her former CI-turned-rival, Anna Havelos' younger brother, who's trying to piece together who his sister really was. What starts as a tense confrontation morphs into a strange, silent dance of grief, mutual confusion, and the politics of justice. Meanwhile, Stella Kid, Miranda Ray Mayo, will host an underground art night in a repurposed firehouse garage. They candlelight, spoken word poetry, and live jazz. We've never seen Kid in this kind of intimate space, Mayo shared in a behind-the-scenes interview. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. She's so strong on the job, but here you get to see her vulnerable. And man, she paints. A whole new Chicago. Not only is After Hours mixing up format and character dynamics, it's also introducing entirely new characters. People who aren't in uniform, but who breathe life into the city. There's Elliot, a veteran-turned-barista who serves everyone from Chief Bowden to Officer Ruzek. Maya, a rideshare driver with a sharp tongue and a background in philosophy. And Father Lewis, a Catholic priest and community counselor with a mysterious past of his own. These new characters won't be one-offs. NBC plans to interweave them gradually into the larger One Chicago mythos. We're not just adding faces, said casting director Louisa Granger. We're enriching the world. The show will also spotlight real Chicago artists and musicians, blending the fictional world with real cultural elements. A teaser shows clips from the city's Logan Square Night Market, a local improv comedy set, and a mural unveiling in Pilsen, all soundtracked by indie musicians from the South Side. Not without risk. Of course, not everyone's on board with the change. Message boards are lighting up with debates. This isn't what Chicago PD fans signed up for, wrote one commenter. Others are thrilled. About time we get to see these characters as people, not just responders.